I thought Clash of the Castle was going to be the best B-tier PLE of the year, but it became controversial very fast. So let's see if the matches were still up to speed as we rate them all right now. WWE did the first thing that I think people consider controversial, having the #1 title in the company, a major match and an I Quit match, be the opening match on the card. Now, being personally, I like that. I enjoy a massive match of this magnitude, a world title match, being the opening match because it makes you lock in and be ready, and it also starts you off, gets you really excited for the rest of the show. But yes, this match was one of the matches that involved some controversy to some fans. They felt like it could have been a little bit better, #1. #2, a lot of people were saying it is too obvious for Cody Rhodes to win this match the second they made it an I Quit match. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't care. I don't care how obvious these things are. I don't care when the result of the match is expected. Listen, there is so many moments during a person's title reign that we know they are going to keep the title. Who cares as long as he gives us a good match? And these two, they went into the ring and they gave us exactly what we expected out of these two professionals. An incredible match, hard hitting, both of them were bleeding. I think WWE is completely out of the PG era if that has not been already shown. It 100% was shown here. And AJ Styles does end up quitting by, he's about to get hit by the steel steps. He's handcuffed to the ropes and he says, "I quit." And then Cody looks at his mom and says, "Should I do it?" She goes, "Yes," and he does it. So listen, this match was good. It did the job. I would give this a solid rating, maybe a 4 out of 5. I think it opened the show really well, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I saw no problems with this. Moving on to the second match, and generally the first time I have been this shocked at a WWE title change in a very, very long time, which was Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler versus the unholy union of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus our current women tag team champions Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. And dude, I am completely in shock that they took the titles off of Jade and Bianca here. Because the superstars that probably had the least likely odds to win this and felt like they were only being added because it was in Scotland and they're both from Scotland, the Unholy Union actually won the women's tag team titles using a very similar strategy to the Iconics after Jade hit, I think it was a back suplex. Isla Dawn swooped in and threw Jade out of the ring. Alba Fire held Bianca's leg so she couldn't get back in, and she got the successful pin on Shayna Baszler, and oh my god, they won. Now this one also had some complainers on it, people saying, "Oh my god, how are you going to take the titles off of Jade and Bianca this early?" Because we're trying to set up a match between both of them at SummerSlam, to my knowledge, right? And I don't know who's going to turn on who, but I think this was a great decision, and maybe the Unholy Union will not have a long title reign, but giving them this moment in front of their fans is a great decision in my opinion. And for everybody who was complaining and saying, "Oh my god, the only reason they won is because it's in Scotland." Okay, people are also complaining and saying, "How could you not have Drew win in front of his home fans in Scotland?" Dude, it goes both ways. I think this was a great decision. This gave a huge pop for them, which they probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. And I'm so happy because now we're going to get them on TV more. And they're actually extremely talented. And for anybody who didn't know that, you saw that at Clash of the Castle. But anyways, yeah, this is the right decision. Anybody who disagrees, I'd love to hear why. The next match is one that I could kind of understand where there is a little bit of fan upsetness to. And that's Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this really felt like the moment that they were going to finally pull the trigger on Chad Gable. I know they've been building up the whole storyline with Otis, but this kind of felt like the moment where they were going to give Chad the title. But no, they didn't decide to. And the reason that it felt that way is because there was rumors that Sami Zayn was going to win the Money in the Bank, but that seems like it's not going to happen now because he's probably going to be defending the Intercontinental Championship there. There was also rumors that Uncle Howdy on Monday was going to attack Sami Zayn. So that also feels like it wouldn't happen now. So here's the thing. I'm not upset at the ending because I think it's going to build into a bigger storyline, but I can understand why fans were a bit upset. But the reason I'm not upset is because I think I finally understand the direction they're going to go with, and it all started here when Otis stared down Chad and abandoned him by picking up Maxine after Chad accidentally hit Maxine's leg, picking up Maxine and leaving the ring, abandoning Chad, who was then hit with Sami Zayn's haluva kick and pinned. And I believe Chad Gable on this Monday Night Raw is going to hold another Alpha Academy meeting where he is going to kick both Maxine and Tozawa, who was not there, and Chad was upset about that. He's going to kick them out of Alpha Academy, and he's going to tell Otis, "You're either with them or you're with me. you pick. And the important thing there is because I believe once he kicks out Maxine and Tozawa, he's going to bring in the Creed brothers and potentially Ivy Nile as well. Because the Creed brothers and Chad have felt like they were going to be connected for a very long time. And I also think that's going to give Otis the perfect opportunity to eventually turn on Chad when he decides to stay in Alpha Academy and sees how they cheat to win and cheat to help Chad beat Sammy for the Intercontinental Championship, which is going to eventually lead to Otis turning on Chad completely, getting this massive pop, and then Otis is going to go after the Intercontinental Championship. Please book it. But it is also important to note, the match was also great. Chad Gable and Sami Zayn are not going to put on a bad match. They're two incredible professionals. So yeah, I was happy with the results just because I think I understand the direction they're going in now. And as long as it leads to Chad eventually winning it and then Otis eventually winning the Intercontinental Championship, I'm sold. Next up is Piper Niven versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. And this was actually just the introductions and everything was so much fun because Piper Niven got such an amazing reaction from the crowd being her hometown, and that is amazing. But Bayley, who did get booed for most of the match, but not in like a we hate you kind of way, just in a we want Piper to win kind of way, she also got the nice moment where they sang the hey, hey, Bayley, ooh. We all love that song. It's always fun to see the international crowd sing that. So, I think this match was fine. It did the job. Bayley won, but Piper still looked pretty strong. I hope WWE reminds themselves of what they have with Piper Niven and do not just drop her into basically nothing feuds. Keep her in the world title picture. But there was a minute in time where I generally thought Piper was going to win because, you know, there was the Scotland crowd and I could generally see Piper versus Nia Jax at SummerSlam. So, but no, it was going to be Bayley the whole time. It was just fun to think for a second that maybe Piper could pull the upset. On a side note, Bayley really needs a new finisher. I don't like the Rose Plant and I don't like the Bayley to Belly. I really think she needs a new finisher. But match was good. If we want to talk about any of the previous moments as controversial, it pales in comparison to this match right here. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was finally Drew's moment to win the world title and actually hold it in front of a crowd, but not only just a crowd, his own hometown crowd. I was already upset that he did not enter with broken dreams, but the ending of this match sent fans into a spiral. Because after input referee gets knocked down spot, there was no referee to count the 1, 2, 3 after Drew hit the Claymore kick, but here came a ref running down, entering the ring, counts the 1, the 2, and boom. No 3. It was CM Punk all along. He screwed Drew McIntyre, hit a low blow, and Damian Priest got the win. I'm not gonna lie to you, this one did upset me a little bit at first. I was a little bit upset because I really wanted Drew to win, but the more I think about it, the more I would rather Damian Priest versus Gunther. I think that match would be incredible. And then Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk doesn't need a title. And one of them, let's be honest here, when Seth Rollins comes back, it's going to be Seth versus CM Punk. But I don't know how we're going to get there. I'm not really worried about that. All I know is I think I'm going to say something controversial here. I think the end of this match was good because as much as we all knew CM Punk was going to come out, this was not the means I thought he was going to show up at, and I honestly respect the A+, actually S tier level hating from him. I mean, this is some AJ Styles-esque stuff. But yeah, man, I thought the match was good. I thought the ending was fine. I know people are upset about it. But dude, you really think Drew is that pissed off about this? I think Drew is fine with it. He understands the storyline we're building up with. One point that I really did want to note, because this kind of breaks the fabric of kayfabe versus reality. After the match was over, during the press conference section, Triple H, aka Paul Levesque, talked about how happy he was to work with this version of CM Punk, this version of Phil Brooks, he said, who he felt like he was looking for a long time and has seen how much he's matured. And Triple H also talked about him maturing on his own end and how they're able to work together. And this prompted Wade Barrett, one of the WWE announcers, to discuss how frustrated he was that Triple H was out here talking about how CM Punk was a new man and how happy he was after just screwing Drew McIntyre out of a match. And he seemed to be generally upset about that. And I didn't want to bring that up like Wade Barrett was not doing this in kayfabe. It just generally felt like a little bit outlandish to see. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I believe Drew and Wade Barrett are friends, and I think Drew generally could have been upset, and Wade Barrett was probably just voicing his frustration for his friends, even in kayfabe. But yeah, it was a little bit interesting to see Wade talk about that because, yeah, I mean, realistically, Triple H should not be praising CM Punk. It should be talking about how he crashed the match and caused the problem. But overall, match was great. Ending was fine. I know people are going to be upset with it, and genuinely, I get that, but I think the matches we're going to get at SummerSlam are going to be all the better for it. Matches were good. Some endings were a little bit controversial, but overall, 4 out of 5. I thought the show was great. So anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.